What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about visualization. So I was watching a podcast. It was Diary of a CEO. He had this neuroscientist named Tara on there, and she was talking about visualization and a specific study where there was a group of people that lifted weights, and then there was another group of people that didn't lift any weights, but they just visualized lifting weights. Like, they just thought about and meditated on lifting weights, think about the action of lifting weights, but never actually touch a weight. And in this study, the group that did actually lift weights saw an improvement of 40% muscle mass in the targeted muscle area. And the group that did not lift any weights saw a growth of 13% muscle mass in the area that was targeted, and that they were supposed to be visualizing lifting weights. So quite literally, like, thinking about something can cause physical changes to happen in your body. And this isn't really to get into that whole like manifesting topic about people who think like they can just like create, like, become a millionaire by thinking about it or something. But this concept is used across tons of sports. Formula One, you'll see people like visualizing the racetrack before they actually get in the car. They're sitting there with their eyes closed, their hands are moving, maybe their head's even moving for where they want to look. Lots of athletes practice this before they actually start, and I found for riding a motorcycle it's super helpful. I visualize if I'm going to a racetrack, I try to memorize that map as much as I can. And you can usually start and get prepped for the actual course you're going to ride really well by just looking at the map, watching YouTube videos, like really visualize what it's like going through those corners. And especially if you can find someone on the bike you're on, just visualizing like body position, how you want to be looking, like where you want to be looking through the corner, even like where you want your butt to be hanging off the seat, anything like that. What gear you want to be in, you can just like visualize down to these very small details. And I think this is super helpful for motorcyclists in general, because if you're anxious about riding on the road, if you're coming back from an accident, if you have something like that where you're anxious about riding, I think really visualizing yourself, like, okay, what do you do in like a panic brake situation? So maybe you watch some videos, you see people where like a car is pulling out on them and they mess it up and they crash, right? Well, how would you visualize yourself in a different scenario? And just stuff like that, where I think it's super helpful for just riding safe on the streets. And that's part of why, like, when I ride a lot of the same roads, but it's like because I know these roads, I can predict what's coming. I know where the cars are turning out. I know a lot of these roads, I even know where the water will be. Like right up here is where there's going to be water across the road if there's water anywhere on this whole road, right? And sometimes that'll turn to ice back there. And so it's really good to just memorize those routes, memorize those details. That's why whenever I'm riding somewhere I'm not familiar with, or it's my first time riding there, I'm so like analytical about it. I look at the map for a while. I really try to, like, I might even use Google Street View, right? Really figure out what it's gonna look like, where I'm trying to turn, find my markers, and be prepared. But I think this has a lot of application to motorcyclists, because I think too often people can just hop on a bike not thinking, you know, they got to get somewhere fast, they're in a rush, they were just, you know, had a beer at the bar with their buddies, whatever it might be. Sometimes you don't, you know, take it as seriously. And I think really putting yourself in that situation, like visualizing, like, okay, a car pulls out on me, what do I do? Like, and just have that like so rehearsed where you're, you know, pulling in the brake, downshifting, and you're really prepared for any situation, rather than just finding yourself in it totally unprepared. In my last group ride video, I talked about how all these moto vloggers are complaining about what other people do with their motorcycles. They're complaining like, oh, you don't actually ride, you just put on a helmet, all this stuff. I saw Brian636's video today talking about, and I had not even seen some of the craziest stuff he kind of put in his video, where it's like people who just buy helmets and don't even own bikes, or people that are like doing GoFundMes to get their bikes. It's very odd to me. I don't understand it, but he had a great perspective on it. He was saying, you know, the old trend used to be putting fur all over your bike, now it's fur on the helmets. And he was like, the thing that really like stands the test of time and people remember, because I had totally forgotten that people were putting fur on their bikes until I saw him put a photo of it and started talking about it, and I was like, geez, I remember that. But he was like, nothing really matters besides the people who are like nice riders, humble and willing to learn, and like really, really good at what they're riding, right? It's like nobody really cares if you cover your bike in fur, and you know, like if you're really, really good, it's like people will be like, well, he was amazing at wheeling that bike, and oh yeah, I did have fur on it. So anyway, if you're frustrated by any of that, then take solace in that and go watch this video. But I don't know, it doesn't really bother me. People can do what they want. I almost feel like it's like some of these older vloggers complaining that there's like new competition and that they don't want to really like keep up with the new trend of what's like getting ad revenue and stuff. I don't know. I say do what you want. I mean, honestly, selling more motorcycle helmets, selling more motorcycles, making more awareness about it, like I said, always good. And I mean, the more helmets they sell, usually it's, you know, economies of scale. If they sell lots of helmets to people who aren't even riding a motorcycle, it's still helmets sold. It's still going to help bring down the cost of manufacturing them if they're manufacturing more for people who don't ride. A little bit weird, but you know, everyone can do what they want. Man, the dam is rushing today. Alright, well, that's a short video for me today, but try it out. It's been helpful for me, visualizing yourself in all these different scenarios, trying to become a better rider. You know, even like visualizing, like trying to clutch it up and do it well, right? So I keep trying to learn, get better every day at riding. If you got any tips, would love to hear it. But otherwise, you guys ride safe. Thanks for checking out this video, and I will catch you all on the next one.